Today's video is all about finding, recognizing, and living by the wisdom within you. Wisdom is a topic that is very misunderstood, I find, and we tend to overcomplicate it with our mind, whereas really it's very simple and natural to let wisdom take the lead in your life. My name's Aliki. There's a delightful selection of videos on my channel for you to explore. Each one of them can be a blessing if you're open and ready to know yourself more deeply. Our thinking obscures our wisdom, the way a veil covers a beautiful sculpture. Even though we can't see the sculpture, it's there. Our thinking is the veil. When the veil is pulled off the sculpture, it's there for everyone to see, because it never went anywhere in the first place. Our wisdom is infinite intelligence, always speaking to us. There's one catch: we can only hear it with a clear mind. Jack Pransky uses a metaphor I find myself using a lot. Our wisdom is always playing, like a soft flute in the background. The rest of our thinking is like a brass band. When the brass band is playing, we can't hear the soft flute. As soon as the band in our mind stops, even for a second, the flute wisdom can be heard, because it never stopped playing in the first place. What we're looking for appears automatically when our mind clears. There really is nothing we have to do to get where we want to be, because we're already there. We're only in our own way with our very own thinking, interfering with our intrinsic state of wisdom and peace, using our gift of thought against ourselves. Now that we know what wisdom sounds like, that this voice of wisdom is soft, like the sound of a flute, and now that we understand that our thoughts and our mind sound like a brass band, we can see that they're actually drowning out the sound of wisdom. It's interesting how many times we feel that we need to go in search of wisdom, but actually wisdom is always here. We just can't hear it because of the loud brass band of our thinking mind. So what's the answer? Well, we know it's not to try and stop thinking. The answer is always so simple. And that can be a problem because the mind doesn't believe in simplicity. The mind is always complicated. It's as simple as taking a conscious breath. When you take a conscious breath, you shift your mind to your heart. You stop paying attention to your thoughts and you come back to life itself. This moment is life, only this moment, not our thoughts about it. Surprising things happen when we become present, when we get quiet, and we stay open. You have a thought, I should do this, and then this thought goes, no, you don't have to do that. It's like the cartoons. You've got the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other. A friend of mine helped me with that, because I was always getting into thinking that would be confusing. I should, I shouldn't, I need to, I don't have to, I can't, I can. I was really good at that kind of thinking. Confusion, ambivalence, uncertainty. And I figured one of those two sides must be right. Then Sid comes along and says, all that thinking is ego. There's no wisdom in either of those thoughts. Why is that? Because there's two. A friend of mine finally just said the simplest thing I've ever heard. Dicken, when it comes up as 2 for me, I throw it back on wisdom until it comes back as 1. There's no other side to it. There's no argument, no fight, no confusion, no uncertainty. There's just, oh, that's right. There's a rightness to wisdom that has nothing to do with the should and shouldn't. That's all our conditioning. Wisdom is a knowing that feels right. Do you know, in all my years of transformative life coaching, the one question I've been asked the most is, how can I tell if it's my intuition or my mind? How can I recognize the voice of my inner wisdom? What usually happens is we're listening to all the different voices of the brass band, and we're trying to figure out which one we should listen to. But we're actually stuck in the wrong place when that happens, and we're missing wisdom altogether. It's very simple, really. Confusion is always in the mind. Wisdom brings clarity. So if you're wondering, should I do this or should I do that, you're probably still in your reasoning mind. This is where you need to get quiet so that you can hear the wisdom flute. This is the test. Is it confusing or is it clear? Wisdom will always be clear. It's not difficult. It's not complicated. But don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself and see. If you have a burning question and you're wondering what to do, you're wondering how to move forward in life, and you're really looking for some clear direction, I invite you to get still. Just get quiet. You don't need to do an hour-long seated meditation or anything like that. Perhaps the best place to get quiet is out in nature, which seems to naturally clear the mind, doesn't it? Start getting familiar with that feeling of knowing, that intuitive knowing that guides you through life. It's beautiful. It's not complicated. Find that quiet place to practice coming back to your breath and being quiet, finding the stillness within, taking a break from what you usually do and how you usually operate, and coming to know that deeper part of yourself where wisdom lives, where wisdom is speaking all the time in a sort of mysterious, silent way, because the voice of wisdom doesn't necessarily sound like a voice at all. It's usually just a quiet knowing. It's a clarity that arises in your being, and you realize, I know what I need to do. And there's no question about it. There's no reasoning. There's no voices arguing with it. You just know. Have you noticed how we tend to always look outside for answers? You know, we want someone else to tell us what the answer is. There's nothing wrong with seeking guidance, with accepting help, with improving our knowledge and experience. But there really is no replacement, no substitute for this wisdom that lives inside each one of us. There really isn't. So remember, if there's more than one voice, throw it back to wisdom until there's only one voice, until you get the answer that satisfies you, even if you have to wait for it for a while. When your personal thinking quiets down, wisdom can operate most effectively and efficiently. Then wisdom guides you effortlessly through your life. It's always there, trying to break through, but it's hard to hear your wisdom when you're caught up in and listening to your insecure thinking.
Wisdom brings you answers to your problems. Wisdom knows how to bring you thoughts and feelings best suited for who you are and the situation you're in. When you're being guided by wisdom, you just know what to do and when to do it. The right feelings and words show up spontaneously. Decisions come to mind effortlessly. You just intuitively know what to do. You naturally find yourself being kind and loving. Trusting wisdom allows for a surrender of any thought that limits your love and understanding. There comes a freedom as you stop running from suffering and understand the nature of any experience. You're at ease with who and what you are. You naturally experience compassion for the pain and suffering in yourself and other people. Wisdom helps you respond to this suffering in a way that is helpful.
When you start finding and recognizing the wisdom within you, something quite extraordinary happens. It's like this incredible unconditional love and understanding and compassion are able to flow through you, which changes everything and becomes such a blessing to the people around you and to the world. So for example, let's say that there's some kind of a relationship that isn't working at the moment. Perhaps you're finding it difficult to communicate with your children. It's very easy to be up in the mind about all this, isn't it? You know, he said, she said, and they did this, and why can't they just, you know, it can get so busy up there. But when you get still, you see, wisdom will quite often show you that all your child really needs is for someone to see them and acknowledge their beautiful being, instead of judging them all the time and making demands of them all the time. So then, you see, as wisdom reveals this to you, your energy towards them changes. Your energy around them changes. And they pick up on that because suddenly, mum or dad isn't giving me grief anymore. Suddenly, mum or dad wants to spend time just being with me, and then there's more of a chance of an opening and real communication there, you see. When you have a problem and you can't decide what to do, you need to make a decision about something important in your life. Have all the pros and cons going on up here, and it's all very confusing as usual. But then if you remember to get quiet and actually tune in to that wisdom flute rather than listening to all the noise from the brass band, then wisdom will show you very clearly what decision to make. And you'll get a sense. Wisdom will always show you what to do and when to do it. But it will show you in its own time, in its own way. It gives you the thoughts and the feelings that you need in each moment. The mind likes to make hard and fast rules about, oh, I'm never going to do this and I'm always going to do that. But wisdom doesn't work that way. Wisdom is spontaneous, present, living, true. It knows what thoughts and feelings to give you to best meet the present situation. But we don't trust it, you see, because we're just not used to living by it. Honestly, to me, wisdom and God are one and the same thing. Isn't it funny how we go to school and learn so many things, but we don't learn about ourselves, do we? We don't learn about how we operate and how best to live life. Fortunately, it's never too late to learn these things. The fact is, you can access this wisdom whenever you need it, because it's always here. It never goes away. You're never separate from it, even if you feel that you are. And for those of you who don't know, I've been running a Facebook group called the Wisdom Quotes Cafe since March 2021. In there you'll find a rich storehouse of wonderfully profound and transformative quotes that I share with you every day. I'll put the link below so you can go and have a look. Everything I post in that group, and there's only one post a day, is to spark the wisdom within you. Thank you to all of you who've been watching my videos and leaving lovely comments. I so appreciate you. You know, you're helping this little channel to grow, and that means that more and more people are getting a chance to see these videos and to become empowered to start living in a better way, in a more harmonious and aligned way. So I'd love to know where you are on your journey of finding, recognizing and living by wisdom. And if you have any questions, and also any suggestions for any further videos. In the meantime, remember the wisdom flute and what you need to do in order to hear it.